So thanks everybody for joining us today for our Insight seminar on looking your best. And we're very happy to have with us today Courtney Stanton. Courtney is a makeup consultant who has actually worked with Doreen on these issues. And Doreen was telling me that she was having some struggles, and Courtney was able to walk her through over Zoom some techniques that she could use for applying makeup. And Doreen thought that this would be a great opportunity to share this information with other clients. So we're happy that Courtney agreed to do this today. And so with that, I'm going to turn it over to Courtney.
Hi guys, I am so excited to be here. So I am a makeup consultant or a makeup artist with Saint Beauty. So essentially I'm kind of like a Mary Kay consultant, but for a different company. So we, which is called Saint. So I have talked with Doreen and I tried to come up with some easy tips and tricks that can just help when applying makeup. A lot of the makeup that I do by using Saint is actually a cream-based makeup. So I actually put it on with my fingers a lot. So that was something that I was already kind of doing, and tricks that I've used just from where I apply. And a lot of our makeup is, and I'm not trying to like sell you guys on this, but a lot of our makeup is to like place and blend. And so I thought that that was really easily translated into kind of giving you guys some tips and tricks to use to like help with contouring. And I know that Doreen had mentioned to me that eyeshadow tends to be something that can be a struggle sometimes. So I came up with some ideas for you guys on that too. And then I'm open to questions at the end and we can kind of talk through some of those things too. So I have my little notes because I want to make sure that I get through everything. But one of the biggest things that is really helpful with makeup, especially for me, I have oily skin, is a setting spray or a primer that will help your makeup stay on, and it's going to help prime your skin to keep your makeup on longer and help your makeup stick to your face. I use actually a spray primer, which I thought would be really useful to share, that they do have that as an option, because that's something that you can find where the nozzle is and then feel it as it's sprayed on your face. And it's just kind of a mist. So it kind of covers and then you let it dry. So I use the one that we sell, but there are brands that have like a primer that is a spray. And so I'm going to actually spray that on because I'll show you some of my makeup as I do it and demo it. So I'll start with that. You can just spray it on and let it sit. And then that will be your primer to help your makeup stick to your face and stay longer. And then another thing, it will depend on the type of coverage that you want, what kind of foundation you want to use. I'm sorry, the sun is making this darker. But BB creams were something when I was doing some research into, I tried to watch some videos and things on women that have sight impairments, and I don't know, how do I, or visually impaired, I'm sorry.
You're good.
I'm really nervous. I'm trying to like say all the right things.
Don't be visually impaired is fine, sight impaired.
Okay.
Yep.
And so I tried to watch, there are some women that do makeup tutorials and things like that. So something that a lot of them suggested was BB creams, because they are like more of a tinted moisturizer. So if you just want a light coverage and to even out your skin tone, that's a really great option. I tend to have a little bit of an issue with BB creams because I have oily skin, but you could always put a powder over that. So that is a great option because you can kind of just put it on and blend it in and just kind of rub it in like you would your moisturizer. I prefer a cream-based foundation. The one that I have comes in a little tin and it's set up like this. But you can just place that on and then blend it out. So you can build your coverage, whereas with the BB cream, you're just going to kind of get a light coverage look. If you want more of a makeup finish, the cream base will build and you can get more of a full coverage look. I know that sometimes with creams and liquid foundations, the hesitation is that they might crease, but you could always put a powder over them, like a translucent powder with like a really fluffy brush. So you would blend on your cream makeup and then put a translucent powder to kind of set it over it. And that's something that I'll talk a little bit more about. There's also cream powder foundation, which is another great option. A tip that I saw multiple times and that I would say too, blend. Like, you're going to want to make sure that you get it all into everywhere on your face. So I'd rather, and I do this too personally, because the type of makeup I use, I place it on and then blend. I'd rather over blend than under blend. And so something that I thought was an interesting point was to do things though in the same order, so that you make sure that you've gotten everything on your face the way that you make sure that you cover everywhere. And I tend to do that when I put my makeup on. I do my contour, and I thought about it. I always do my left side first. And then, so then, you know, when you go to your right side out of memory habit that you've already done your left, kind of an idea. So that's something to, when you start to like do your routine, try to figure out which way you prefer to do things, and then just be consistent with that. Which I'm sure is something that you guys have already figured out or do in your life. But I just thought, I didn't realize that I was doing that until it was presented to me and I thought about it, and I was like, I always do stuff on my left first and then my right. And then, so I think that was it for foundation options. So it's basically just what you feel more comfortable with wearing. But like I said, I find that cream is easier to blend. So that is going to give you a better coverage and be easier to kind of place and blend out. Contouring is something that I'm really passionate about, because it's going to give you a natural facelift without having to get one. So I really love it. I don't have really defined cheekbones. Like, my face is pretty round. So I love contouring because it kind of lifts my cheekbones. But a lot of what I used to do, and what I've recently learned, I used to put my contour like here, like if you make a fish face where the hollows of your cheeks are, because I thought that putting it underneath would create this shadow and it would lift my cheekbones. And that's where I had always put it. Within the last year from being with this company, a couple of other artists actually put their contour on the bottom of their actual cheekbone. And it's such a difference. It actually like totally lifts your face. And that's actually something really easy to feel. So you can find where your cheekbone is and then go to right before the hollow of your cheeks. So the right underneath of your actual bone. And that's where you're going to want your contour to be, because that's going to lift your eyes, and it's still going to give you a shadow, but the shadow is going to be higher up on your face, which will lift. And it actually really makes your eyes pop because of like where the placement is. I don't know why, but it's magic. And every time I do it, I like look at myself and I'm like, I look so different. But so you want to do that. So that's where you want your contour to go. And then right along your hairline. And so that's also another easy place to feel. If you're going to place it and then blend it, you can do like feel where your hair is and go a little bit in front and place your contour there and then blend it. I have a relatively large forehead, so I like to pull my contour a little bit farther. But for me, so then what I do is I just place it and then I place it a little bit further down and then blend again. So those are my tips on where to contour and put the placement. I'm going to use my makeup and then show you how I blend it. So I am going to use my fingers. This is what we call a cheetah hack, because when you do it, you kind of look like a cheetah, but then you blend it all out and your makeup is on perfectly. So I'm just going to take my contour color. I like to do that first. And I'm just going to place it right on that bottom of the cheekbone. And I'm just going to put it in some little dots. And this color is actually going to be, a lot of people for contour will use like their bronzer, but a bronzer is very warm toned. So that's actually just going to make you look more tan. So you want to try to find a contour color that's a little bit more of a cool tone to actually create a shadow on your face. So here, I'm going to go ahead and then I'm going to find that spot here and place that contour here. And like I said, with the cream, it's really easy because it just kind of places where you want it to go. And then I'm going to pull that a little bit down to create that illusion. And then I am just going to take my foundation, which is here, and then I'm just going to place that everywhere else. So like anywhere where I know that I don't have contour anywhere else on my face. And like underneath your eyes. And I always start too by blending, obviously, the lighter color first. So I start underneath my eye, and I like to use a really fluffy brush, which is going to be really forgiving with blending. And that's with any kind of foundation. If you want to use the powder, if you want to use a liquid foundation, a big fluffy brush is going to really help you blend. And so this is the type of brush that you're looking for, something that's super fluffy like this, and then something that's a little bit smaller. The more dense one is going to be great for blending and then to like actually blend. But then this side is going to help you like just make sure that everything is evened out and there's no like streaks or pieces that you've missed, because it'll just fluff over everything. So I'm going to start with this side.
Courtney, before you go,
yes.
Just for the benefit of the folks on the phone. So
yeah.
When you were doing the foundation, you were just like, it looked like you were just dipping 2 fingers right into the makeup. You have your makeup in a tray.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm sorry about that.
Okay.
I forgot that. Yeah. So, so the makeup that I have is they're in little tins and they are placed in a compact. So I have them in a certain order. So I know which one is where and which color I use for different parts of my face. So you want to put the darker color on underneath your cheekbones and along your hairline, and then the lighter color everywhere else on your face. And I use my fingers for that. You can do that with a powder or cream foundation as well. With a powder, you can dip the brush right into the powder and then put that on.
And it looked to me like you did maybe 10 or 15 dabs. You kind of dabbed your finger, put a few dabs on your forehead, a few dabs on your cheek, a few on your chin.
Yes.
So you dabs like chicken pox.
Yeah. So I have spots all over my face right now. But yeah, if you use a cream or a liquid foundation, a little goes a long way. So you don't need to kind of smear or cover every area, because the brush will help you do that. So I only have quite a few dots on my face, and it's difficult to see except for the dark ones because they are similar to my skin tone. So the point is that they will blend out and it'll just look like my natural skin, just without all like the redness. And so then I'm going to take a fluffier brush that's a little bit more condensed, and I'm going to use that to blend out my makeup. I like to start under my eyes because that's generally where a lighter color would be. And then I will move to the area that's underneath my cheekbones and along my hairline. And so you can kind of just feel while you're doing that you get every area on your face. And again, like I said, with kind of doing a pattern to make sure that you do, of course, this time I went and did my right side first, but if you make sure that you do your thing. So like I tend to do my eyes and then I go over my nose, but then I know that from there, I'm going to move to underneath on my jawline and kind of blend that, and then go over my chin to the other side of my jawline and kind of blend that out. And then I move to my forehead and I'll start in between my eyes and blend. But I'm only blending over my eyebrows because above on the top of my forehead is where the contour color is, and that's going to be darker. So I'm just blending this area here. Then I'm going to start and go back underneath my cheekbone and blend that. And I do it 3 or 4 times. And then I know that it's pretty blended in. I'll go to the other side and again, go from my cheek area towards my hairline back by my ear. And I will blend that 3 or 4 times. And then I can kind of tell that that's pretty blended. Then I'm going to start in circular motions and go along my hairline. I'll start by my ear and then go up and go all the way across my hairline, just in circular motions. And once that is done, I'll take the fluffier end of my brush and just kind of go all over my face. And that's just going to kind of help to make sure that all of that makeup is blended in together. And I don't have any dots left or any lines or anything like that. And so then you've kind of covered your whole face. And especially, like I said, I love a big fluffy brush to just make sure that I've blended everything out. And then once you have that on, that's a time when you could, I want to wait on saying that. But so once that's blended out, another thing that I have noticed from some videos that I watched and some research that I did is a beauty blender or a perfector sponge is a really great tool too, because you can, it comes smaller than this. You put a little bit of water on it and squeeze it out, but it's a big fluffy sponge and you can dab it on your face and it will take off any excess makeup that you have. So if you're, or help like push out anything that you may have missed. And so it's something that's really helpful. It kind of like dabs the makeup around too. And it's something that a lot of people that do makeup videos or beauty artists or whatever use them. And they're really great to kind of just take off any excess makeup. That's the makeup too that's going to crease on your face or like look like you haven't blended it in. So this is something that's really a great tool. It's that you can get them at like Sephora, but you can also get them in like the beauty section of Target and Walmart. And they're, you know, really easy to use. You just like, you put some water on it, squeeze it out really, really well, and it's going to look like this. And then you just dab it all over your face and it'll help take any excess off. So that's really helpful too. Okay, where else do I want to go? Blend. Oh, blush placement. So I have always put blush just right on my cheeks. But sometimes that gives you that like Rockette toy soldier look if you like put it right in the front and it's like too much, whatever. So recently I've been placing it a little bit higher up. So right along the top part of my cheekbone. So instead of, so you know where the underneath part is. And then if you smile, but then go back to your cheekbones and put it a little bit back farther, that's going to also help lift your face, brighten your eyes. And you want to use a more neutral color. And even if you use like a brown or a neutral blush, it's still going to give you color back in your face because you don't want to just do a foundation or contour that's going to even out your skin tone, but then you don't have any color. So blush is going to really bring you back to life kind of. So you want to make sure that you do it, but I understand that it can be something that if you're not sure that it's blended, it could be kind of scary to be like, you know, make sure. So that is another reason why one of these big fluffy brushes is huge, because you can put your blush on, whatever kind of blush you use, powdered, cream, and feel where you want to place that and put it up a little bit higher. And you can just dab it in and then use your big fluffy brush to just kind of blend it out. The sunshine is just not being my friend today. But see, it just brings you some color back in your face. So you want to even out your skin tone and cover any redness or any discolorations, but then you do want to give yourself some life. So you really do want to make sure that you try a blush. So I just suggest something like a really light pink or something really neutral that's similar to your skin tone, but a little bit different so that it will still give you some coloring in your cheeks. And so I'm just going to place that back here again, and then go ahead and fluff that out with a fluffier brush. You can even too, if you want to use your finger, you can place the blush on your finger and touch where you want it to go, and then use a big fluffy brush to just swirl it around a couple times. Even if you want to count, say like, okay, if I swirl it 8 times, that's generally pretty blended out for me. And then you can just kind of give yourself that while you're doing it. And then you'll know that you have some color on your cheeks. That makes sense. And then what I really want to get to, okay, so for lips, I love a tinted gloss. They come in all different colors. You can get super bold ones or clear. I use a tinted gloss every day, but it also really, they're not hard to, they're easy to not mess up. I don't know how to say it. I'm not coming through with that correctly, but they're something that you can kind of just place on, but it's going to give you some color. And I know that a lot of people really love lipsticks. I personally tend to wear more of a glossy look, where you can find bright color in them, and they're easy to apply. That's what I should have said. Okay, eyeshadows. This is where I wanted to get to because I know that this was something that was a topic Doreen and I talked about. And I love eyeshadow and I love making people's eyes pop. And so I thought some tips that I could give you guys on that is there are different colors that make different eye colors stand out. And so if you are going to do an eyeshadow look, that is where I would focus. So if you I have green eyes. So purples and like gold browns look really good on me, and some greens. Women with brown eyes can wear pretty much any color, which is pretty awesome, to make their eyes pop. But like golds and like coppery browns look beautiful. And then women with blue eyes can do more of like silvery shimmer colors, or even like golds and yellows look really pretty because it's the opposite color. But shimmer shadows are really easy to are really forgiving. So what I like to do with a shimmer shadow is just kind of do a wash over my eye, and it's something super easy, but then it gives you some color and it totally changes your look. And I love big, if you can't tell, I love big fluffy brushes. So I have an eyeshadow brush that is a fluffier brush. It's meant for blending, but that's going to be super easy to get a little bit of color on and then just kind of wash it over your eyelid. And so a suggestion, backing up a little bit, a suggestion that I have is to find a cream-based shadow that has a little bit of a shimmer in it that has a really neutral color. So I have something, of course, this one. I use it all the time, so the tin is difficult to see, but it's like a rose gold color. And it's similar to my skin tone, but it has a little bit of a shimmer in it, and it's a cream eyeshadow. And I use that as my eyeshadow primer, but you can use your finger and just put that all over your eyelid from your brow all the way down to your eyelid. And there are days where that's all I do. That is my eyeshadow, but it's got a little bit of a shimmer to it. So it makes me feel like I have some eyeshadow on, but it's not a bright color. There's no like, did I put it in the right area? You can literally put it on your whole eyelid and it will just give you a little bit of a color and a little bit of a look. So I would suggest to something like that as a really simple, easy, neutral look that you can use. And then if you want to get a like lighter shimmer shadow, like a warm brown or a light purple, you can use that. So this is one that I use all the time. It's like a gray purple shimmer color. And I just dip the fluffy end of my eyeshadow brush in, and I'm gonna go right underneath my brow bone in the crease of my eye and just move the brush back and forth like in a rainbow shape motion. And then do that again on the other side. And then I will take the fluffy end again and just put that all over my actual eyelid. And then it can be done. But then you at least have some different, like have you a look, have like a little bit more of a look, have an eyeshadow on, but that's a really easy way to put that on and add it without having to worry about if the color is going too far, if it's winged, if it's, I find that with matte shadows or darker tones, you really need to make sure that they're blended out. Sometimes you can see the line where they end. So if they're different on each eye, I have problems with that. I'll like sit there and blend back and forth because I have, you know, but so shimmer shadows for me are really forgiving because you can kind of just wash them on and they're, you know, then that's it. So that was something that I wanted to suggest. And then I found a tip, which I would have never, I was trying to figure out something for mascara because I know that that can be difficult. And I had someone suggest to take a like a makeup round, something like this, and to fold it in half and place it behind your eyelashes. And then you can find your eyelash. See if I can do this. And then brush up. So then you're not getting it on your eyelid, but you can get some on your eyelashes. And so anything that you would hit your eyelid with goes onto the round. I should have folded this to the not fluffy side. But then that gives you some definition on your eyelashes. And you can just take your mascara brush and put it to the water line of your eye and then kind of blink it up. I blink my eye while I put it on. And then, but this way with the cotton round, you don't have to worry about it getting onto your eyelid while you do that. It's kind of a buffer for you. So then you can have mascara on as well. So, okay, I think that those were the tips that I have. I'd love to answer questions because I also know that a lot of you guys have been doing your makeup and might have specific questions to do. Those were just some tips and tricks that I've thought of, but I would love to brainstorm and talk to you guys about that too. So if you want to open that up or if you are okay with that.
Yeah, absolutely. That would be great. So that's awesome. Thank you so much, Courtney. So I'm going to go through and unmute everybody or try to. Looks like folks might have to unmute themselves. But certainly if you have a question, either you can raise your hand, your virtual hand.
Currently unmuted.
Using the reactions button, or you can press *9 on your phone, and that'll let me know that you have a question. Or if you are unmuted, you can just go ahead.
Mute my audio. Shift Command.
I have a question. This is what if you have like a lot of surgery on your eyes and they're really sensitive?
Mm-hmm.
And like what do you recommend for different makeups for that?
Unfortunately, in that situation, you're going to probably have to do some trial and error, but I would try to look for makeups that have the least amount of ingredients in them, because that's going to have the least amount of like different things that could react with your skin. I'm trying to think if there's a brand. I mean, so our makeup brand is very low in ingredients amounts, and it is a lot. I can't say that it's vegan because there's like beeswax in it. But there are some companies that definitely do have like more natural, like that are a more natural brand. You're going to want to probably stay away from like the more common ones. I can definitely look more into that for you though. And I could shoot that information over to Doreen if that's okay. And then maybe she could forward that to you. But I would just look for something that is like, there's some that will say like free of allergens or that are vegan or more like of a natural brand. And I would just focus on those because they're going to have less in them that can react with your skin. And then just really make sure skincare is really important too. So if you do have sensitive skin around your eyes, I would make sure that you're using a really good moisturizer. I use Cetaphil, which is actually like for eczema and super dry skin. That's what I use on a daily basis because I have some eczema on my face. So that's a really great brand too. And that will help moisturize your skin and get your skin healthy so that it won't be as reactive with some makeups.
This is Joanne. For the contour, do you just use a shade darker of your foundation, or is there a specific item called contouring?
So there is a specific item for contouring. It's a specific, because it's going to be much darker, or like I said, a lot of people will use a bronzer. It's just going to be more of a warm glow instead of a darker glow. But a lot of companies will sell like contour shades. They're very dark. They're like a really, really dark brown. And so they're going to create a darker shadow on your face.
Has left the meeting.
If you use different shades of actual foundation, you'll want to do like a lighter shade underneath your eyes, and then your actual foundation color on the rest of your face. But that's just going to do brightening. That's not going to do a darker contour. So you'll actually want to look for the makeup brand's contour coloring.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, this is. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Pauline.
Oh, yeah, I just have a question. Any tips on applying lipstick? Like maybe a tube lipstick versus, you know, like a liquid, like long lasting.
Yeah, so I would say for more precision, you're going to want to go with a tube lipstick. You could also, if you wanted to use a liquid lipstick, get a lipstick brush. There are brushes that that have like a defined point, and then you could dip that, because sometimes with the wands and things, you don't know how much is on there. So you could take the wand and use the lipstick brush and wipe off a little bit and apply that way. Then you can feel the brush a little bit and know where you're putting that, and know that you can then build on that instead of just using whatever's on the tube. So that would be a suggestion that I have for like a liquid lipstick. If you're using more of like a gloss, they're pretty forgiving, so you can kind of use the wand for that. And then a tube lipstick is a little bit easier for precision to feel where that's going and know what you're kind of getting when you put it on. So that's what I would suggest for that.
Madeline, I know you have a question. If you hit *6 on your phone, that'll unmute you and we'll be able to hear you. And in the meantime, I know, Doreen, you have a question, I think.
Hi, Courtney. Thank
Hi.
you. That thing that you put on your eyelid,
Yes.
what was that? Can you describe that?
Of course. So they are called cotton rounds. You can get them at any drugstore, CVS, Target. I use them to remove my makeup. It's like I put my makeup remover on it, and it's a little cotton pad that you can use. But I just used it and I folded it in half so that it's more like a moon shape. And I used the folded edge against my eyelid so that I can have like a straight edge and then use the mascara over that. But they are just it's called a cotton round, and they come in like a little tube of, I think this one has like 100, but you can get a ton, and they're like $3 for a tube of these. So I thought that was a really neat tip, and I use them for taking my makeup off. So it's something I already had too. So it can have a dual usage as well.
Well, that's excellent, because when I put my mascara on, I have to get Q-tips and then get it off my lid every day.
I actually have a friend that's just how she puts her mascara on. She does it first because she just puts it all over, and then she does the thing anyway. So I was like, Shannon, look what I found.
Thank you.
Of course.
Okay, Madeline, you're unmuted, so you can go ahead with your question.
I do. I get a flakiness. I think it's from my eyelid onto my eyelashes, sometimes throughout the day, or when I wake up in the morning, and it's a little unsettling.
Is it
a dry eyelid?
Dry. Okay, so I would look into like a really gentle moisturizer, and I would put a moisturizer on your eyelid. I wouldn't go all the way to your lash line because you don't want it to get in, but maybe before bed, put it on. Again, I'm going to suggest Cetaphil because it's a brand that I use. And I would get like a really like hypoallergenic light moisturizer and just put a little dab on your fingers and put that all over your eyelids like before bed. And if you notice it in the morning, maybe in the morning. But you're like, even though you don't necessarily think to put moisturizer on your eyes, they are still skin. So you're still going to want to moisturize them. And yeah, so, and a lot of people will use eye creams and stuff, but those also have things in there for like wrinkle repair and puffiness and that kind of a thing. So you just want to use a really light moisturizer to just at least give yourself something into your skin.
Okay, thank you very much.
Of course.
Is there anybody else that has any questions that Courtney can answer? No? Okay. So I'm gonna just stop the recording here.